Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of today's presiding officer, the Commander, United States Air Force Warfare Center, Major General Case Cunningham, welcome to Hurlburt Field in the 505th Command and Control Wing Change of Command Ceremony. I'm Major Stephen Perkins from the 705th Training Squadron, and I'll be your narrator for today's event. Our proffer for today's ceremony is Miss Frankie Moore from the 505th Combat Training Squadron. Today, the men and women of the 505th Command and Control Wing pay special tribute as Colonel Richard R. Dickens relinquishes command and Colonel Frederick A. Coleman assumes command. Throughout today's ceremony, you will be given reminders to stand and be seated at the appropriate times. Keep in mind, all military members should stand at attention during the playing of musical honors, singing of the national anthem, and all civilian guests should stand and place your right hands over your hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of ruffles and flourishes, the presentation of the colors by the Hurlburt Field Honor Guard, the singing of the national anthem by Lieutenant Colonel Barbara Ziska and Lieutenant Colonel Alicia Wallace, and the invocation by Chaplain Joshua Rumsey.
Present the colors. Mark. Hunt. Halt. Halt. Reset. Halt.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Halt.
If you will, please pray with me. Heavenly Father, today we gather to watch the guidon of responsibility for the 505th Command and Control Wing change hands. They're on the cutting edge of how the Air Force operates. We ask your blessings today on Colonel Dickens and his family. Please guide them through every adventure in front of them. We ask your guidance for Colonel Coleman. Please direct his eyes and his thoughts. Please guide his hands and his words. Allow his leadership to propel this unit and our mission to the next steps in accelerating change. I ask you protect us from accident and injury. May those who wish us harm be frustrated at every turn. May our efforts to develop the men and women of the Air Force be fruitful. Please form us into people of greater integrity. Help us to hold ourselves to the highest standards of service before self, and help our excellence to be clear to everyone who sees us. May God bless us, and may God bless America. Amen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Hurlburt Field, Honor Guard, Lieutenant Colonel Ziska, Lieutenant Colonel Wallace, and Chaplain Rumsey. You may be seated. Today we are joined by a number of special and distinguished guests. The wing extends a special welcome to Colonel Dickens' wife, Krista. As well as a warm welcome to the family of Colonel Coleman, his wife Trinity, their daughters Evelyn and Olivia, and their son Toby, his parents, Randy and Janice Coleman, his brother Michael Coleman and his partner Matthew Turcott, Trinity's parents, Carolyn and William Clovis, and retired Chief Master Sergeant John Pernovich and his wife Kimberly, as well as many of their friends that are here and joining us virtually today to share in this special occasion. We would also like to welcome our distinguished guests. Please hold your applause until all guests have been announced. Deputy Commander, Air Force Special Operations Command, Major General Eric Hill. The Command Chief, United States Air Force Warfare Center, Chief Master Sergeant Emilio Hernandez. The Vice Commander, 505th Command and Control Wing, Colonel Carl Weinbrich and his wife Alicia. The Command Chief, 505th Command and Control Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Cornelius Thompson and his wife Jamelia Naylor Thompson. The Vice Commander, 53rd Wing, Colonel Sean Nitsky. The Technical Director, 53rd Wing, Mr. Kevin Burns. The Vice Commander, 1st Special Operations Wing, Colonel Timothy Hood and his wife Jennifer Hood. The Command Chief, 1st Special Operations Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Courtney Freeman and his wife Becky Freeman. The Commander, 492nd Special Operations Wing, Colonel Caleb Nimmo. The Commander, 350th Special Warfare Wing, Colonel William Young and his wife Tanya Young. The Command Chief, 350th Spectrum Warfare Wing, Chief Master Sergeant David Southall. The Commander, 505th Test and Training Group, Colonel Adam Shelton. The Commander, 505th Combat Training Group, Colonel Aaron Gibney. The Commander, 505th Command and Control Wing, Detachment 1, Colonel Michael Goodman. The Commander, 1st Special Operations Group, Colonel Sean Young and her husband Everett Young. The Command Chief, 1st Special Operations Group, Chief Master Sergeant Colin Fleck. The Commander, 1st Special Operations Medical Group, Colonel Tracy Sapp. The Command Chief, 1st Special Operations Medical Group, Chief Master Sergeant Cynthia Porras. Director, Army Joint Support Team, Colonel Jason Miller. The Deputy Director, Army Joint Support Team, Mr. Sonny Clark. The Honorary Commander, 505th Command and Control Wing, Mr. Paul Lux and his wife, Nicole Lux. The Honorary Commander, 505th Test and Training Group, Miss Cindy Franks. We also extend a warm welcome to all their group commanders, squadron commanders, directors, civic leaders, friends, and members of the Hurlburt Field community who have taken time out to share in this special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, the change of command ceremony is a military tradition rooted in history and dates back to the time of Frederick the Great of Prussia. During that time, military organizations developed flags which were unique to their organization with specialized colors and designs. The soldiers followed their leaders into battle with flag in hand. If the banner flew proudly after the conflict, it was a sign of victory on the field of battle. With its obvious importance, the flag was soon incorporated into the ancient change of command ceremonies. The organization's banner was exchanged in public for all to see. The person holding the flag was the unchallenged and sovereign leader of the unit. The modern-day ceremony is principally symbolic, yet it still announces to all the authority of the incoming commander in the finest military tradition. The transfer of the guidon to the incoming commander symbolizes the assumption of command. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce today's presiding officer, Major General Cunningham.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. What a cool environment for this change of command. It feels like we're all one family in here together. It's a neat place to do this. Just because in a ceremony like this, we usually don't have the chance to do it, I'd just like to ask for a round of applause for that amazing anthem. It feels like we should... We don't really get to do that in the ceremony, so thanks for doing that. That was incredible, and the Honor Guard is always bringing such a great pride and precision to the flag presentation, so thanks for that. What a special treat it is to be here with you all for this awesome day and this awesome ceremony to celebrate the passing of the 505th Command and Control Wing flag from one incredible leader to another. And I'm really, really thankful and honored to have the chance to be a part of it today. I really appreciate all of you being here today for this ceremony. It's great that all of you made so much time out of your day for this, and for those that are joining us virtually as well, wherever you may be, thank you for your time. And to my good friend, Major General Hill, commanders and chiefs, Joint Coalition community and industry partners, AFSOC teammates, and Team Hurlburt, 505th Command and Control Wing Airmen, family, and friends. These ceremonies are made so much more special even by your presence, and really appreciate it. The crowd have had the distinct pleasure, I'd probably put that in air quotes, of hearing me give 2 speeches back to back. With that said, as a caveat, I am going to bring in a little historical perspective again here. It is something that I like to do in these ceremonies because we all do follow in the footsteps of those who have come before us, and the 505th Command and Control Wing is no different on that front. So while the history of the 505th goes all the way back to 1947 as the first aircraft warning and control unit in Air Defense Command of our then a brand new Air Force. It was the Vietnam War that saw the organization first engage in combat operations, as it provided the command and control for the tactical control system in Southeast Asia. After 8 years of distinguished combat service in Vietnam, the unit was actually deactivated. It was then in 1980 that the lineage of the organization was reactivated here at Hurlburt Field. And with lots of name changes since then and a transition from group to wing status in 2004, the 505th Command and Control Wing has evolved to become the command and control epicenter for how the Air Force fights. When it comes down to it, we organize, train, and equip our forces to be a component to a joint force commander. And in order for those forces to be employed effectively to meet Joint Force Commander objectives, and therefore national security objectives, it all starts with C2. And none of that is possible without the airmen of the 505th executing excellence across the gamut of C2, from training personnel for the roles today in an Air Operations Center to paving the path to the future and the Shadow Operations Center at Nellis, and so much more. The 505th makes it all happen with practiced precision. And that practiced precision has been empowered and enabled by the outstanding leadership of Colonel Deuce Dickens for the last 2 years. But before I get to raving about Deuce, command is a family business, and Krista, I want to thank you for all that you do, both through this command tour and all preceding and all to follow. A recent presidential proclamation on military spouse appreciation read, "As the members of our armed forces safeguard our nation at home and around the world, they depend on the people they love for strength, comfort, joy, and stability. Military spouses may not always wear a uniform, but they serve and sacrifice alongside their service members and keep our military strong." No truer words there today. Thank you so much, Krista. Now, Deuce, while our overlap has been brief, I've been consistently impressed with your leadership of this team executing such a dynamic portfolio. I sincerely appreciate the awesome immersion into your mission after I took command less than a month ago, and your pride in all that your team does and all that they have accomplished was apparent throughout that time. Now, we'll get to hear lots more about the accomplishments of your team under your leadership here in a bit when we read the citation for your decoration. So I won't play the spoiler here or repeat any of the accolades, but I will give you all a teaser to say, listen closely. It's pretty amazing. Thank you so much for all that you've done here in the 505th. Your impact will continue to outlast your time here and continue to pay huge dividends for our Air Force. And I'm excited for what's ahead for Team Dickens as you make the trek to D.C. And Deuce, your experience and leadership will continue to be highly valued on the headquarters Air Force staff and the Skunks. That org has traditionally served as the chief's think tank in advocating for air power and developing, exploring, and wargaming concepts that lead Air Force transformation. With all you've accomplished here and in previous key leader assignments, we're lucky as an Air Force to have you headed that way as we find ways every day to accelerate change. Trey, I can only imagine how excited you are to take the flag today and step into the leadership role with these amazing folks. I am jealous. It's hard to imagine a better lead-in to to command the 505th than how Colonel Coleman is showing up. 2 years of excellence in command of a combat air operations center gives you a valued perspective of doctrine, training, execution, technology, and so much more. But most importantly, the importance of our people in this business we call C2. Your record of superior performance and those that have had the privilege to serve with you speak volumes about your excellence in service and leadership. I'm looking forward to and feel honored to have the opportunity to work with you in all that's ahead. Trinity, Evelyn, Olivia, and Toby, it's so great to meet you all, and I want to thank you all for the way that you serve. You've lived amazingly exciting lives as you've moved from Doha to Florida. I just want to share a quick story. I said, okay, who in the family has traveled the farthest? And Toby shot up his hand and said, we have. This will be another of your many adventures as a military family, and our nation is indebted to you for all that you do. Thank you all so much. As I wrap up here, I want to stress the importance of the work the airmen do in this wing with the incredible support of their families. It's no mistake that one of the highest priority efforts in the entire Department of Defense ends with the words command and control. Known by the acronym JADC2, Joint All-Domain Command and Control, that effort highlights the fact that we've got to do more and move faster to optimize for the speed, complexity, and lethality of future conflict, but even more importantly, the capability to do so that will continue to deter our adversaries from ever making the first move and thus keeping us out of conflict. I'm 100% convinced that we won't succeed in that endeavor without leveraging the skills, talents, and expertise of the airmen of this wing. Deuce, thanks so much for the foundation that you set to make that possible. And Trey, in a few minutes, that charge is yours. Lead them well. Thank you all.
Thank you, General Cunningham. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as General Cunningham presents the Legion of Merit Medal, 1st Oak Leaf Cluster, to Colonel Dickens. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of Legion of Merit to Colonel Richard R. Dickens. Colonel Richard R. Dickens distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious conduct and performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 505th Command and Control Wing, Hurlburt Field, Florida, from 7 June 2019 through 16 July 2021. During this period, Colonel Dickens commanded over 1,000 uniform and civilian airmen across 2 groups, 8 squadrons, 4 detachments, and 7 operating locations. As commander of the Air Force's sole command and control wing, he was responsible for training that impacted more than 300,000 Air Force, joint, and coalition warfighters. Additionally, Colonel Dickens oversaw the $4.7 billion portfolio for the operational test and evaluation of command and control, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance programs. He also guided the development of initial cadre of multi-domain warfare officers and instructors in the Air Force's first operational level career field. Moreover, Colonel Dickens championed the initiative to accelerate change by establishing experimentation elements in both the Common Mission Control Center and the Shadow Operations Center Nellis, leading to the Chief of Staff of the Air Force designating the Shadow Operations Center Nellis as one of the Air Force's 2 advanced battle management system battle labs. Furthermore, he expanded the support to the Army's warfighter exercise, validating the ability to conduct digital fires and airspace integration, which prepared more than 40,000 soldiers for major combat operations. Colonel Dickens also drove the strategic development of joint all-domain command and control in the Air Operations Center enterprise through briefings to the Chief of Staff of the Air Force and the Commander of the Air Combat Command. Finally, he revitalized the wing's organizational structure by establishing the wing's first Operations Directorate, Intelligence Directorate, and Weapons and Tactics Shop. As a result of his daily leadership and mentoring, the 505th Command and Control Wing successfully completed the unit evaluation and inspection with an overall effective rating. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Dickens reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. And now, the commander of 505th Command and Control Wing, Colonel Richard Dickens.
All right. Afternoon. This is great. It's always a bittersweet day when you give up command, but it is the perfect Florida afternoon for a wool suit and tie. I noticed there's a Mackey Muxley plaque back there, and I've counted. I think we have room for 6 more people, so we're good. We're good. I just wanted to finish up the way I started about 2 years ago. I asked my wing to get after 3 priorities: people, mission, and future. And so I want to continue that trend because there's a lot of folks that I got to thank. There's a lot of people that I got to thank. I want to thank all of you for attending, both in person and virtual. General Hill, Chief Hernandez, and all of our other DVs. I'll get back to all of you in a little bit. Friends and family, all of our coworkers, thanks for being here, and all the folks that are dialed in as well. I need to echo the thanks for those that made today's ceremony possible. We've got obviously the narrator, the proffer, the honor guard, the chaplain, and the national anthem, as well as the folks that nobody saw that were here yesterday practicing. There's always the folks that are behind the camera with Keith and Deb and Linda, but above all, our Pro Joe, Major Rita. So thanks to everybody that made today's ceremony possible. Thank you. Sir, my thanks to you and Chief for traveling and visiting with us. I know we asked a lot of you for 2 ceremonies, 2 bases, and 3 outfits, and hopefully 1 plane ride. Right, so hopefully it'll all come together. Thank you sincerely for being here, and I look forward to seeing the amazing things the Warfare Center accomplishes over the next few years. I also need to say thanks to General Corcoran, who's probably somewhere in the belly of the beast right now, but he had trust and faith in me and supported me along the way. And so, sir, wherever you are, thank you for that. I want to thank my wing leadership team with me. So, Jim, somewhere in the back there, thanks for all the trusted counsel and advice over the time that I was here and showing me where all the skeletons were buried when I got here. I really appreciate it. To the vices, thank you for you and K2 for being, again, someone I could shut the door with and talk to honestly and openly. Really appreciate it. There are still miracle workers in the Air Force. They call them chiefs. And so I want to say thanks to Dupe and CT. So thank you. You guys are amazing. I can't tell you how many times behind the scenes they're working to make things right and better for our airmen, and I really do appreciate it. So thanks to my chiefs. My unit commanders, whether it's a group, squadron, or det, thank you so much. I asked you to accept risk. I ask you to accelerate change. I ask you to have a bias for action. And I'd cover you, and I appreciate the fact that you get out there and made it happen, and we did that, and we made some changes, and we accepted some risk, and we certainly accelerated change, so I really do appreciate that. I need to say thanks to the wing staff agencies and the DS. It's very difficult to support a wing as complex and distributed as ours is, but I really appreciate the fact that they try to make it happen, and sometimes it's a thankless job, but I really do want to say thanks for what you did. The front office, I know most of them are gathered over there, so thanks for keeping it all lively, fun, whether you had paper hands or diamond hands. I love you either way, but I really want to appreciate the fact that it was a great place to want to go to work. I want to say thanks to my fellow Warfare Center teammates, so thanks for the 53rd, for everybody being here, really do appreciate it, and as well as now the 350th, looking forward to the work that now that we got all the new leadership teams in place to see what y'all are going to do over the time forward. I also want to say thanks to my team Hurlburt teammates. So I'm just amazed every day at what AFSOC does, and my thanks to the One Cell being such great host installation commanders, and for the 492nd, the 24 Cell as well. Just amazing work that you do, and look forward. I always enjoyed the breakfasts that we had and sharing what's going on across the wing. Also got the mission partners, so thanks for AJAS for being here. Appreciate. I know it takes a team, like we said, to get after that CJSE2 thing, and so really appreciate the opportunities we had to sit down across the table and share ideas openly and honestly. I also need to thank my honorary commanders. So I don't see we're sending one off to. Oh, there you are. So thank you, Paul and Nicole. You know, we have honorary commanders, but and I appreciate you for raising your hand to do that, but what I really appreciate is the fact that you've been so active and so supportive and such advocates for our wing and this mission, and I really do appreciate it, and thank you for being here and being a part of that program. I need to say I'd like to honor our fallen teammate, Mr. Bill Holloway, who unfortunately lost his battle with COVID. I just wanted to say to his family, Mary, Jeff, Jimmy, and Jack, that they will forever be in our hearts, and so memory will live on. Out there watching, I want to thank my in-laws, Ann and Danny. We will hopefully see you tomorrow, if all goes well. And no, Danny, you can't have any extra strokes on the backside. I want to thank my daughters, Bailey and Gracie. I love them so much, and I'm really grateful that we're going to have an opportunity to be a little bit closer together with them over the next year plus, hopefully. And that brings me to my beautiful bride, Miss Krista. So as I was getting ready for today, you know, she said, "Wow, this is a huge accomplishment." I said, "I know, 2 years finishing up command." And she's like, "No, I made it to the last of your speeches." So to her, I want to say thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for keeping me grounded. She is far greater asset to the Air Force than I ever could be. Last night, we went out walking around base housing, which we have made it a habit to go out walking at night. We've done that for a better part of 28 years at this point, and I realized that as long as she's still there beside me walking through life, then everything will be fine. So thank you. And that brings me to the final category of under people that I've got. So I just want to say thanks to the 505th Command and Control Airmen. And when I say airmen, I always mean our active Guard and Reserve. I mean our uniformed, our GS, and our contractors. Thanks for all that you did to enable us to get after that second priority of the mission. You know, we are the Air Force's only C2 wing. We bring a unique perspective, we bring incredible expertise, and we bring a distinct voice, right? The one that can allow us to dominate or deliver C2 dominance on a daily basis. We do that through our 6 primary missions. You know, I have trouble remembering things, so I'm trying to make it easy, the 3 T's and 3 E's: training, testing, tactics, development, experimentation, exercises, and evaluation. Depending on what order, just kind of depends on when I'm that day, but you know, through these different missions, and I'm not isolating it out by unit because I want to think about how we all intersect across the wing and integrate across the wing by missions. But we make a difference in how our nation conducts its warfighting, and we make that difference from homeland defense to the way that we develop our airborne taxi 2 platforms, as well as operational level command and control through the air operations, air component commanders headquarters, as well as the tax and tags. So thank you for getting after it. Thanks for making that difference. And thanks for being valued members of a high-performing team. You help us win today and enable a competitive advantage for tomorrow, which leads me to my third priority of future. I've told everybody that C2 is a growth industry, and I firmly believe that. JADC2 is going to be critical to how we conduct warfare. Because we're going to see reduced resources, we're going to have to be more effective with what we got. We're going to have to be a better joint warfighting team to be more effective. And we're, as a wing, positioned to make a difference in that discussion. We're positioned to drive that discussion forward and shape the way warfare is done in the future and command and control is done in the future. So I appreciate the fact that we're trying to accelerate change to bring that future faster. And right now, the future of the wing is sitting over there, hoping I'll stop talking so he can grab the guide on. I tell people, after about 2 years, if you're not tired in command, then you're probably not doing it right. So it's time for me to hand it off to someone with fresh legs, with a fresh perspective, so he can get after it. So just want to say congrats to you, Trey, Trinity, and the family. It's great to see so many friends and relatives here as well, celebrate. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing what comes out of this wing. So in closing, just want to say thank you. It has been truly an honor of a lifetime to be the commander for this wing, and appreciate it.
Thank you, Colonel Dickens. At this time, the wing would like to express their thanks to Mrs. Dickens for all that she has done. Please accept these flowers on behalf of the men and women of the 505th Command and Control Wing. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the change of command. Attention orders. Under the provisions of Air Force Instruction 51-604 and Special Order Number Golf-21-048, Colonel Richard R. Dickens relinquishes command of the 505th Command and Control Wing to Colonel Frederick A. Coleman, effective 16 July 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you for the first time the new commander of the 505th Command and Control Wing, Colonel Frederick Coleman.
All right. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. This is a really awesome audience. I did not expect this huge of a turnout, nor did I expect every commander within 500 miles to be here and chief. So thanks everybody for being here. Really what an honor to have you all here. It means a lot. They say, you've heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. I think the metaphor extends beyond childhood. I think this is a village. And I think it takes a village to do what we do. No single one of us can do what our nation needs us to do on our own. So it takes all of us. And that doesn't mean uniformed members only. It doesn't mean military or government employees only. It means families. It means friends. It means loved ones. It means mission partners. It means neighbors. And so that's our village, and I'm really glad to have everybody here. What I'd like to do is I'll do it quickly, but maybe spend the next 5 minutes and 5 seconds talking a little bit about our village, and then we'll get on to the party, which I know is what you're really here for. Major General Cunningham, thank you for presiding over the ceremony, and thanks for in advance for your trust and confidence in me and in this team. Major General Hill, it's awesome to see you again. I worked for General Hill at CENTCOM, and then we went off. You went to Sejodif, and I went off to the KAOC, so we'd see each other on VTCs. And I showed up in lodging here a week ago, and your picture's on the wall, and I'm like, no way. So, it goes back to the village. It's a small family, it's a small community, and that's what we have here. I'd also like to acknowledge a number of other really important folks, mentors and leaders that I've had in my life who have been a part of my development and have really trusted me and put their faith in me and made me who I am today. And that list is not going to be all-inclusive, but includes Lieutenant General Guns-Bergeson, Lieutenant General Guastella, Lieutenant General Gio, and Major General Kacheski, who I've worked with over the past year at the KAC. So thanks, sir, if you guys are dialing in. Deuce, thanks for your leadership over the 505th for the past 2 years. It's been good to work with you. We've worked together over the past 2 years on and off from my position at the 609th, doing the 13 Oscar boards and some other planning for AOCs. And so it's been great to see your leadership, and thanks for the great handover also and the fantastic transition. Ninja, Linda, and everybody else who had a part of this ceremony, thanks for putting this together. This is fantastic, and it's a great way to kick off command. Trinity, Toby, Evelyn, and Olivia, you guys are awesome. You know, this right here, you're going to hate this analogy, I know, but you know. So this is my offensive line, and I'm not talking weight class here. I'm talking like the team, right? So you do the football analogy, and it's like everybody loves the quarterback and the receiver, but if the offensive line isn't doing what they need to do, if the guard isn't pulling, and if the tackle isn't cutting, the quarterback gets smeared, right, and the team loses. But this is our offensive line. This is my offensive line. These guys hold it all together, and I'm so thankful to have you as our family. And so thanks for being here. Thanks for everything you've done for me and for our Air Force and for our family. Our parents, my mom and dad. This whole crew over here is like family and friends, which is amazing. Everybody came in. So we have my parents, my mom and dad. We have Trinity's parents, Carolyn and Kent. My mom and dad's names are Jan and Randy. I know that. We have my brother, Michael, and his partner, Matthew, in the front row here. We have our neighbors from Fishhawk. So Fishhawk was our last neighborhood in Tampa, and where I am still, I believe, the reigning barbecue champion. And so we became really close with our neighbors and friends there, and they drove up for this ceremony. So Tony and Nancy, Ryan and Monica, kids, it's awesome to have you guys here. Thanks for taking the time to come up. We have aunts and uncles here. So my Aunt Loretta is here, and Trinity's Aunt Linda and Uncle Jim are here. So thanks for coming up and joining us, being a part of this family. And then I also have a really, somebody I've become really close to over the past couple of years, recently retired Chief John Parnievich and his wife, Kim. Chief John was the chief at the 609th, and we became really close working together. And so it's great to see you with the beard now and looking good. Thanks for being here. They drove down from Ohio for this. Really, really cool to have you guys here. And I know we've got a lot of friends and family joining us virtually too, so thanks everybody for dialing in. It's great to have you. Hopefully we get to see you soon in person. You're not kidding anybody. We know you're not wearing pants. And finally, to the men and women of the 505th, both here and at our distributed locations across the nation, which is really cool. I'm super excited to be on this team with you. I've been in the business of command and control for my entire career, and never has it been so exciting as it is right now. You know, I think, this is my personal thesis, I think that as cool as our jets and our weapons and everything else that we do, as cool as that stuff is, it's command and control that makes the Air Force what it is. It's the way that we fight, it's the way that we command and control our forces that has made us so successful over the past decades. And there's never been a better time to be in this business. With the onset of ABMS, with the onset of JADC2, with all the changes in doctrine that are coming down, led by our Chief of Staff of the Air Force, there's never been a better time to be in this business. The way we execute centralized command, distributed control, and decentralized execution will be the shock and awe of the next fight. And the 505th is at the heart of it. I'm excited to be here. I look forward to seeing what we can accomplish together. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Coleman. The members of the 505th Command and Control Wing are pleased to welcome Mrs. Coleman. Please accept these flowers on behalf of the men and women of the 505th Command and Control Wing. The men and women of the 505th Command and Control Wing are proud to have served with Colonel Dickens and wish him and his family good luck and Godspeed in their future endeavors. We also welcome Colonel Coleman and his family as he assumes his new duties as commander of 505th Command and Control Wing. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Air Force song and departure of the official party.